Thank you for chipping in for more Cyberpunk 2077 lore. In 2005, the net made a quantum jump to its second generation with the commercial appearance of the cyber modem from Kenjiri Technologies. Kenjiri had been working on their cyber modem for several years under the guidance of noted net wizard Janice A. Grubb and the Kenjiri brothers Nobuhiko and Tsuneta. IBM tried to steal the new technology for themselves, attacking the Tokyo office of the Kenjiri firm. They managed to appropriate plans for the cyber modem, as well as the only prototype, and had a beta version of the interface programs. But Kenjiri had off-site backups, and one of the EMB solos turned coat and sold a copy of the plans to Zetatech. Kenjiri and Zetatech both released cyber modems within the year, and IBM followed suit with the next. The beginning of the end of the stage appeared on the horizon in 2009, when Internet, taking advantage of the mob war Night City, extracted Nobuhiko Ihara from Zetatech's Night City office. They also enticed Jan Grubb away from Kenjiri that same year. Together, these two took over the software team, which redesigned the net from the ground up, developing a uniform interface for a consistent look and feel. The Ihara Grubb transformation algorithms were released in September 2014, with only 1 day's advanced notice. The panic that ensued was truly remarkable. Everyone was afraid the net would go down, possibly permanently. The IGTAs were downloaded, and after about 10 hours, the net was fully transformed. During the implementation of the IG protocols, Super Wizard class netrunner Rache Bartmoss infiltrated Ihara's code and planted his own virus via a backdoor he had set up months earlier on Manny Ihara's computer. Knowing something of Ihara's proclivities, Bartmoss had made it look like a hentai anime porn file. In short, whereas most viruses must infect a computer system, the DataKrash was automatically loaded into every single computer that ever ran the net. For 5 years, it sat dormant in the directory files of these computers until that fateful day late in the Fourth Corporate War, when a Black Ops team killed Rache Bartmoss. His death triggered a dead man switch that activated billions of DataKrash viral links. The DataKrash was a pervasive computer virus that created links between different bits of data stored on millions of computers. Inserted into the very fabric of the architecture of the worldwide computer net, its programming was deceptively simple. Hide, seek, and swap. Hide. Randomly transfer data files of the same size between computers, while keeping the original header. For example, say there was a file in computer A called Cyberpunk 2077 Secret Info that was 1 GB long, and a file in computer B called Cyberpunk Cookie Recipe that was also 1 GB long. DataKrash would exchange the contents of both files, but retain the same headers. Show. DataKrash was designed to level the playing field by locating secret data and exposing it to others. For example, most of the megacorps kept extensive files on covert operations or espionage. DataKrash would note files with secure headers, read the file contents, and drop copies of that file to every single name mentioned in the files. Since many of these covert ops involved subverting government agencies or corporate rivals, this created pandemonium. Swap. DataKrash was programmed to substitute altered files for similar ones. For example, there were lots of copies of his Cyberpunk 2077 trailer, but they all had the same basic header. So DataKrash would seek out any video file with Cyberpunk 2077 in the title, and in a certain number of them, substitute a digitally altered file in its place. DataKrash also did this with text documents and sound files. Rache's intent was to make information totally free by making it purely subjective. There would be no way to hoard information or to lock it up. There would be no lock on the truth, since there would be a million versions of the truth. By the time Netwatch knew the truth about the DataKrash, it was too late. The process of the crash was well underway. To stop it would have required stripping the operating system out of practically every computer on Earth. In late 2022, the Rabbids started to appear. The Rabbids, roving autonomous Bartmoss interface drones, were AI killer programs designed to resemble the late Rache Bartmoss, created as one last proverbial middle finger to his corporate enemies. Powerful, homicidal, and ubiquitous, they began to infest the besieged net in greater and greater numbers. At first, they attacked only known Bartmoss targets like Arasaka and IBM, but as time went on and Rache wasn't around to rein them in, the Rabbids evolved a murderous hatred of anyone they encountered in the net. Unable to wipe out the DataKrash and overwhelmed by frenzied hordes of killer rabbits, Netwatch finally gave up. The IG Overwatch Council activated IGTA Dissolution Prime, propagating a code wave that crashed the IG protocols. The net was dead. Over the next few years, a myriad of Netwatch runners attempted to enter the remains of the net through the old abandoned gateways. They found a virtual world of utter chaos, where mutated versions of rabbits and other creations savagely battled each other for memory space and bits of code. Netwatch gave up, abandoning net space to the rabbits. Within a few years, the net became only a memory to everyone except a few determined netrunners. During the early days of the DataKrash, Arasaka realized what was going on and decided that if anyone was going to control history, they were going to be the ones. Cyber Arasaka set up his own secure database removed from the net entirely, and spent millions of dollars to isolate and purge all traces of alteration. The Alpha security database was located in the base of the newly constructed Arasaka Towers in Night City. The tower contained a 2-kiloton nuclear device set to wipe it out if security was breached. The staggering 20 years of Arasaka intelligence gathering stored in the only DataKrash-free computers in existence. This database would have given Arasaka an almost unshakable grip on the next phase of the information age. In addition, Arasaka had a special plan to deal with hard copy records, books, papers, etc. A bioengineered virus. To cripple its enemies' data stores and gain control over history, Arasaka released paper viral V524, an engineered bacterium that consumed acid-free papers. Overnight, the DataKrash invalidated the entire structure of information that made megacorps and governments viable, with no way to keep records, no way to organize, no way to even track economies and money. The very foundations of the information age collapsed into the rubble of its already ruined cities. Ultimately, the Arasaka Tower would be destroyed by the actions of Johnny Silverhand, Morgan Blackhand, Spider Murphy, and their allies. However, rumor has it that the Arasaka nuclear device may still be around in Cyberpunk Red. Without linked computers, there can be no infrastructure for the net, so the net was abandoned to become a vast wasteland of potential connections, an empty superhighway with no off-ramps to anywhere. Instead, there are now intranets, closed systems that operate only between computers run by individual groups. They all have specific operating systems. You can't hack into them from afar, since they are usually hardwired, use very limited wireless nets, or are secure coded to only talk to other systems of that type. There is no information sharing, no vast cyberspace to explore. If you want to hack a system these days, you need to go to a site where the intranet physically is, enter it right there, and then hack it. As for the AIs, when the net went dark, most AIs certainly had no way to maintain their existence over dispersed computer networks. The lucky ones were able to find intranets big enough to survive in, but the vast majority were forced to carve out an existence in smaller and smaller pockets of computational power. Eventually, the AIs were no longer able to support themselves in these limited areas, and so, like the dinosaurs, they went extinct. Or did they? It is said that there are still areas of the net that are closed off, isolated like remote islands. One such area is the Ghost World, made up of a computer net based out of Hong Kong that was abandoned during the fall of the city. Scattered sources from the Hong Kong area have claimed that, as the net went down, many AIs were able to colonize this abandoned network and make it their own. But whether this tale is true or just pure speculation, one thing is clear. No one's seen an AI operating in cyberspace for years. There is also the question of where did the survivors of Soulkiller end up? Most notably, the super wizard class hacker, Alt Cunningham. It seems Johnny Silverhand wants V to find Alt in Cyberpunk 2077. Hey Samurai, are you interested in more Cyberpunk 2077 content? Then be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for chipping in.